In any true democracy, elected representatives are accountable to the people who put them in office. That's supposed to be the ideal. Yet in many parts of Nigeria, citizens rarely see or hear from their lawmakers after elections. Then promises begin to fade, visibility disappears, and the gap between leaders and people grow even wider. This raises an important question. Should we publicly rate our representatives? And of course, if they fail us, should we remove them? That's the question. This conversation is meant to awaken public consciousness, promote civic responsibility, and encourage Nigerians to take ownership of the democratic process, not just during elections, but in every day afterwards. Now, joining me to throw more light in this conversation is Timilehin Olugbemi. She's a data and research analyst at Budget Foundation, and she's joined me via Zoom tonight. Thank you so much for joining me, Timilehin.
Hi, Sally. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
Very well, thank you. So, I mean, this is important to have this conversation because everything we try to do every Monday since we partnered with Enough is Enough is to just drive that consciousness of the office of the citizen so you know how important your office is and you start to intentionally, make use of that office as a citizen of this country, right? So why does this matter? Why is it important for us to even decide that, we want to raise this issue in terms of rating, and then, if they are not performing, remove those people that are not performing? Why does this conversation even matter?
I believe it's important for lawmakers to be visible and active in their constituencies because visibility and engagement are for democratic accountability. And in Nigeria, we've noticed that we have a lot of problems, a lot of challenges. We have bad roads, we have poor healthcare, poor infrastructure, and a whole lot of problems that we go through as a country. So it's important that our lawmakers are present, they are able to speak up, use their voice to ensure that the needs of the constituents, the needs of the people in the community are being met at the end of the day. And this is why it's important for lawmakers to be present, is because it builds trust and accountability. When people are able to see their leaders, they are able to have conversations with the people who they have voted into power. It helps them get to know the people they have voted and have conversations with them, air their concerns, and of course, receive feedback from their leaders. If they are not present, if they don't get to see them, have conversations with them, how then do they go ahead to share their concerns and get feedback from them? Also, monitoring and community needs. When the leaders, when the lawmakers are present, when they are able to be there for their constituency, it makes them understand the needs of the people. If we're being honest, sometimes when you are not present, when you don't see things for yourself, you don't understand the importance and the necessity of things that are needed in the community. So when they are being present, it makes it easy for them to understand the needs of the people. Also, it prevents the use of power over the people when they are able to see their leaders, when they are able to have conversations with them and air their concerns to them as their lawmakers. They are able to explain how they feel without feeling difficult or without feeling they don't have anyone to share their grievances with. When you have a lawmaker, when you have a leader, you don't get to see the person, you do not even know who your lawmaker is. You don't know how to share your concerns with them. So it's very important for people to see their leaders and have conversations with them.
Important, very important, because you see, elected officials are meant to serve their constituents, but if they cannot see them, that cannot happen if they are absent. So it's important that things like town hall meetings, constituency visits, and regular updates are not optional. They are part of the essential, the essentials for that occupying that office. So when lawmakers are invincible, they would fail to represent the people well. So let us not assume that everybody knows who lawmakers are in this context, right? So can you help us break down? So when we're talking lawmakers, who are we talking about here? So that people understand that these are the people that are shaping and governing the structure that helps you, either feel the impact of governance or otherwise. So tell us who the lawmakers are in terms of, this context that we're referring to.
So the lawmakers are the people we vote into power. They are the people we go for elections to see that we've selected a particular leader to go through to be a leader for us as a community, as a country, as a whole. When we vote during election, these are lawmakers. These are the people that we want to speak up for us in sittings in the National Assembly to bring up ideas, to see the needs of the people in the community and speak up for us. So they are the lawmakers. Lawmakers are just literally the elected officials
So we're
to
talking,
guide
we're
and to
talking
speak up for the people.
senators, we're talking
Yes,
senators, we're
senators,
talking
yeah,
the House of Rep members. Then at the
House
state
of
level, we're
Representatives, yeah,
talking, what's it called, the House of Assembly members, and we're talking,
yeah, House of Assembly
okay.
members.
All right, all right. So it's important that because I try these days not to just assume that everybody knows, you know,
True.
what these people are supposed to be, you know, and let's just try to break it down for as many people in the most minute way. Now, so I mean, if we look at it in the context of electing these people, it means that we, the citizens, who are supposed to be their employers, right? And in a democracy, the people
Yes.
we are the bosses of these people, because without us, without our votes, right, these people that are elected won't even be in the office in the first place. So that means that every citizen, we have the right, you know, to ask, you know, what has happened, you know, what has our representative, what have they done since they've been elected? How have they raised any form of issues that is affecting us? What have they come to ask us, you know, that is the problem? So we can tell them, take or hear our problems and go and present it to the larger house. The kind of bills they've sponsored, how they've completed or followed up on any of the constituency projects that they've had. So now, in all of this context, right, if a representative cannot answer these questions, right, what are we supposed to do as citizens? Because this is where the topic for the day then stems from, right? If you see that your elected officials, you know, are not doing well, is it okay for us to start intentionally calling out for platforms where we can say, no, this person is not representing us well in XYZ, he has failed in this, and for that reason, you know, that person needs to, you know, be taken out of the picture?
Yes, it's important for we Nigerians to speak up. It's very important. I know we all understand that it's our votes that got them there. We all came together to agree to put them there. So it's important that when they are not active as we would expect them to, if they are not delivering as we would have expected them to, it's important that we speak up. We should come together as a nation. We should come together as a community, as a group, to speak up. We can't stay silent. When we keep quiet, it makes it
So
look like
what
we
is the
are okay with what's
constitutional
going
way
on.
to speak up, Timilehin? Because as it stands now,
Town hall meetings, yeah.
yeah, so those are town hall meetings and all of that to engage us, to say, okay, these are the issues. But I'm saying that you have identified that this person is not performing, right? The Constitution allows for a recall, which is the kind of thing we saw with what they had tried to do with Senator Natasha Akpoti, meaning that the people that voted, you know, at that the region are able to say, you know what, this person, we want to unvote the person, if there's any word like that, you know, we want to just see this person is not doing the job that we hired them to go and do, right? But that process seems to be a bit tricky, right? I mean, just based on what we saw that happened with Senator Natasha. So when we are asking, when you say that, how do we engage them? You know, how do we start to do public ratings and all of that, and call for their removal, right, based on performance? You know, is it going to be possible for us to just say, you know what, at this rate, based on all of these things that we have listed, this person should just, you know, but it's not possible. We have to go through the Constitution. And how would that even take effect, given the very interesting system that we have, especially when it comes to judiciary and all of that? How would that take effect?
Well, honestly, it won't be easy to just come ahead and say we want them out of our out of seats because they are not performing. I'm still open to giving them the time to be done with their tenure, to vote again. Like I said, our power lies. Nigerians are able to come together and see that we push through that, okay, this person is actually not leading through with the manifestos or the plans that the person had already promised before going into power. Then if we can come together as one to ensure that the person is out of seat, if it's possible for us to do that, then yes, we can go ahead. But it's not easy. We can see that with the case of Senator Natasha. It's not easy just taking someone out of power, someone who has been elected to be there for at least 4 years. So most of the time, we will end up having to wait till the next election to be able to vote it and vote someone else into power. So we have the power to vote out and to leave them in power if we decide to.
Okay. So Timilehin, you know that performance should be it should be transparent, right?
Yes, it should be.
Meaning that
Yeah.
if a lawmaker is performing, it will be very obvious to any common person out there to say this person is performing. So lawmakers should be, they should be. Do you think they should be assessed just like any public servant, right? So we're talking the number of attendance, the participation in plenary, the kind of bills that they sponsored, the community engagement, should all of those things become the parameter for which we are saying that this is what we would use to check, do a checklist to see if you're performing or not?
Yes. It is, they work for us. We put them there, they answer to us. Literally, they are, I would say, they are also servants to the people, to the public per se. So it's important that we have like a scorecard for them. We should see, okay, if they were going, okay, during the time of election, they promised I would construct a number amount of roads, or I would build this hospital and all of that. We should be able to track them using a scorecard to see that everything they had during their election period, they are being able to complete all those promises they have made. So we should be able to tick them up because, sometimes we might just, bias can come in. Maybe you don't like someone, or you feel religion, or you feel tribalism can come into place. So when we are able to have a proper scorecard to see that they are filling in all the promises they have made, it makes it easy for us to rate them fairly without being biased in any way. So yes, we should have things that we look at. We should have a scorecard to rate them. Something every citizen should be able to assess. It's not just one person coming up saying, I don't think this person is performing as he or she should. But we should be able to see the scorecards and tick each of them to be sure that, yes, this is the reason why we are taking this person out, because the person is not performing, considering all the promises they had during the time of election.
Very true. And, as you rightly said earlier on when we're talking about complaining is not, it's not enough just be complaining. You have to be intentional about if your representative is not working, you have the power to actually just take them out of the picture. So I want to ask a question, though. Given that the nature, or it's very complex in terms of removal, right? I get you when you say wait for 4 years to elect somebody else, but you see, I've noticed also that elections around either the National Assembly or the state houses of assembly or the local governments, all those elections, people really do not care. A lot of people are more concerned about what goes on at the executive level. So we're talking governors, we're talking presidents, right? We're not really intentional about the representatives, because that's been the pattern, from time immemorial. So whoever we're voting at presidency, we vote same, just go across the same party, regardless of who the person is. That has been the pattern to which we're voting. So how will this, voting out an incompetent lawmaker, how would it even work, How do we intentionally promote to say, what, this person has been, because some lawmakers, it's not like executive positions. Lawmakers, some of them, they've done 4 tenures, which is 4 times 4, 16 years. Some of them have even done 5 tenures. They can be there forever, and I mean, it's quite interesting. So how do we tell to say, okay, this person is not performing, and we so you are able to know that, okay, yes, you're no longer voting across party lines, but you're voting based on individual performances?
Of course, I believe this has to be a collective action between Nigerians. We can't leave this process for a particular group of people, let's say maybe CSOs, to always be the intermediary between the people and the government. Everyone has a part to play, and if we really demand the accountability and transparency that we want, all hands has to be on deck to request for this transparency that we deserve. We have a lot of officials that keep going back there and keep having a repeated tenure because people are voting them. But there are a whole lot of people who do not vote, and when they come out to vote, I believe that we would be able to elect the right leaders that we want. So when we keep leaving the part of the political conversations for a set of people, for a group of people, it makes it easy for the same set of people to keep being in power. But when everyone is interested in ensuring that the leaders that we have are people that are interested in our well-being, it makes it easy for us to focus on someone we believe would be the perfect fit for the work that we want to be done.
Okay, so let's go back to this
everyone.
holding our leaders accountable and the public rating and performance. Whilst the pros would be that, of course, it will enhance transparency, accountability rather. It will also improve transparency. It will also increase civic engagement, meaning that a lot of us will now be intentional about, checking to see what these people are doing, right? But there's a downside to all of this, right? Because again, if a political because that's what I see, somewhat happened with a case of Senator Natasha, but it's just because the woman is working and her people are seeing it. That's why they could not. But there's always that, bias around. So there's always that downside around maybe bias, or the fact that people can also be influenced because again, there were people that went to go and sign that recall letter, right, to say they wanted to recall Senator Natasha. So until they now did the investigation and found out, okay, these people were not, from her constituency. But I'm just saying to you that it can be influenced because there's still hunger in the land, there's poverty in the land, there's a lot of things in the land. So how do we, even though we want to we know that the platform is great, how do we intentionally, ensure that it's also fair, it's balanced, and there's no influence, nobody is being used as a political stooge?
I believe our representatives, they would perform better when they see that everyone is watching them, when people are watching them, when their work is being measured. I would give an instance to one of the work we do at Budget, which is the State Fiscal Transparency League table. We rank states according to the availability of fiscal documents in the state. And I can tell you for a fact that starting from 2023 up until 2025, we have seen the difference. You see that when people know, so I'm just using this in context, when people know that they are being watched and people are going to give reviews or rankings to their work, they try to put in the efforts to do better. And I can say that considering the rankings we've had from subsequent quarters up until now. So when the leaders are aware that there is a measure, people are watching them, people are going to be rating and ranking them, even in public, on social media and all of that, they would be interested in doing better, in ensuring that they fulfill their part of their job. Also, we should see that we inform the citizens, we empower them with reducing reliance on ethnicity, religious, or party sentiments. It's not always a particular party that has to be in power. It's not a particular tribe that has to be in power. Like, greed has to be out of this if we really need the accountability that we want, if we want the leaders that we desire. Everyone has to put bias aside and look at the bigger picture. We have to have a collective mind. We have to have a particular thing that we have to look at, a particular goal, a vision that this is where we are headed as a country. And when we all agree to that, it makes it easy for us to elect leaders who are also in line to our choices, the things that we want as a country as a whole as well.
Okay. All right, let's go on this short break. When we come back from the break, we'll continue this interesting conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, if you just tuned in, we are discussing the subject of public rating and, of course, performance-based removal. Do you think for us to be able to hold our public officials that are elected accountable, is it okay if we start to rate them and then remove them. I don't know how possible this is, but please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. Our phone lines are also now open, 07025007749 or 07014242420. You can also leave us a message on our YouTube live link. We would also pick your messages and, of course, read them out. All right, so, I mean, Timilehin, interesting conversation. But I'd
I
like
was
to ask,
saying,
right, what do you think the potential challenge would be in terms of trying to establish this platform? And when we talk about rating, are we creating a platform where people can go? So maybe like there's a portal on budget where people can just go report and everything. And, you know, where are we going to, what's the modus operandi of this kind of platform that would be able to hold our leaders accountable?
okay, so at Budget, we have the Tracker app. We have a platform called the tracker.ng, which you can actually access. There you can register and go to your state, your constituent, your local government, and see projects that are ongoing. There, if you'd have a project in your state or your local government that is uncompleted, maybe abandoned, and you feel you would want to report that, that's a good platform for you to also report abandoned projects, things that concerns your community, that you feel the government needs their attention. You need the attention of the government to see that they ensure the completion of those particular projects. You can take a picture, you make a video, and you post. Like they say sometimes, seeing is believing. It's not just about word of mouth saying, oh, this particular area, they've not done this road, they've not done all of that. Take a picture. Let the people see that, okay, this is actually going on in this particular society. Also, there's the Follow the Money from Code. We have the Construct as well. Those are platforms where Nigerians can actually use to ensure that they track and report situations. We also have the social media. We know how much interaction and engagement people get when they come up with things like this, when they share problems like this. You'd be surprised to see a whole lot of people who share the same idea with you and are willing to push that your legislators are also making sure they feel every promise they have made. So you can make a post on your social media platform, tag the necessary authorities, and see how they will take it up from there. That's another way we can actually use to see that our governments are seeing what our problems are at the end of the day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask, what has been the success rate for the Tracker app?
We've had a whole lot of success rates. I remember in 2022, there was a school in Osun State that had been abandoned. The building was going so bad it could collapse at any time. We were able to train the Parent Teachers Association, and they were able to follow up with the government and see that the school was renovated. We had another case in Kaduna where the PTOs, our tracking officers, which is the tracker team, they traveled down there to see that there was no hospital in that community. The drips that they were being given to the patients, they were hanging them through the tree, and that was a very gory sight to behold. So with constant advocacy from the tracker team, we were able to see that the government built a cottage hospital for them, and now they are doing well with the hospital. We also have I think, is it Adamawa State, where they had little to no equipment in the hospital. People had to travel. No, that was, in Mina. They had to travel to Niger to see that they get a medical health service, which was very, very bad. They already witnessed a lot of loss of life due to that issue. And due to the advocacy of the tracker team, they were able to find people who would see through the renovation of the hospital. So we've had a whole lot of success stories. We have a whole lot. You can visit the tracker.ng website to see how you can register and report situations like this.
I was just going to say that that was where my next question would be, that how easy would the tracker user experience be like, right? Especially for people maybe that do not have that savviness in terms of navigating their what's it called, their way through technology and apps and all of that, how easy is it for a regular person, to just take those pictures, upload and all of that? The user experience, what do you want to quickly run us through that?
Oh, yeah, sure. Once you download the mobile app on your Play Store, your Google Store, or you visit the tracker.ng, you register using your email address. Then when you're done registering, you would see an icon that leads you to your state and your local government. All you have to do is select the area that concerns you, where you would like to report. When you've selected the particular area, you would see the ongoing projects that has been registered on the tracker platform. Then when you have an abandoned project or you have a concern that you would like your lawmakers to take note of, all you have to do is take a picture or you take a video recording and you post it. When you're done posting, you'll be surprised to see that a couple of people from your area are also supporting that project has to be completed. So you'd have a couple of votes going to that project. So it's actually very simple. You register, you select your state on your local government, and also report the projects that you would like attention to be noticed to.
So does budget even help in drawing the attention of the select lawmaker or whatever in charge of that? Do you help to draw the attention to the reports that are being made?
Yes, we do. Of course, we facilitate. We also push for advocacy and also facilitate. Yes.
That means, and why I'm saying this is just to test the effectiveness of it, because it's not enough for us to just report and nothing is being done. All right, so let me just quickly say that apart from all of the things that Timilehin has rightfully said, right, there are alternative solutions. So citizens can hold their representative accountable through regular elections and providing an opportunity for change. Be intentional about educating yourself on what you need to know about the individual and vote individuals and not across party lines, right? There's also, you have to learn that there is you have to there has to be an implementation of effective feedback mechanisms, right? Timilehin, you had touched a little bit earlier on town halls, right? And you've talked about the tracker. You've talked about facilitating citizen engagement and providing representative. I loved what you said about you people going to the school to teach the teachers how to be able to engage their lawmakers in how to demand for the repairs of their schools. Those are the kinds of things that can give a sustainable solution. So it's not all the time that, the tracker team needs to go to different places. If people are sensitized, if people are educated, it is easier for more people to be able to just, you know what, I saw this somewhere, I will just, quickly do it, right? So that really helps, So what are the things we should do again when it comes to accountability? Because we must find a balance so that let it not be that the most important, not important, the most frequently used phrase for politicians, witch hunting. My political enemies, they are trying to overthrow my, because every time you try to give a feedback, be it constructive or whatever, right? You get this constant pushback from politicians thinking is a witch hunt and all of that. So we must balance it, right? Accountability and transparency, we must balance it. So how do we find the balance between holding our representatives accountable and allowing them also to do their job and make informed decisions, that are critical? So let it not be that we're just bugging them, because if we really want to start on that your tracker app, trust me, if Nigerians decide to face, even your app will shut down based on the number of reports and different things that will come up, because they are just a plethora of problems. So tell me, what do we do?
Okay, we should also look out for constituency office activity. It's another metrics to measure how the performance of our leaders are. It's not just about the availability of this office. Are there people who can attend to our concerns when we report these issues? I believe some people would have recorded cases when they go to report an issue and the person who is even meant to attend to them probably doesn't even say a word or doesn't pay attention to their concerns. And also citizens can check if their lawmaker is sponsoring or debating bills while sitting during in their National Assembly. Also, we should see that we track the budgets because lawmakers are able to attract and ensure the implementation of constituency projects in education, health, road, and a whole lot of sectors that concerns us. Also, town hall meetings and reports, do they hold community meetings? Are they able to read through the people's concerns and get feedback from them that, yes, this is what the people actually need at the particular time? Also, public engagement. I would not stop laying emphasis on how important public engagement is, because are they using different platforms like radio, social media, community events to communicate with the people in the constituent?
Absolutely. I was just going to add that you must establish objective evaluation criteria that would help to minimize some of the biases that would also
Yeah.
be essential for a fair and effective measuring system for these people, because it's not just to say that they are stressing you. You understand? You must have gone through all the parameters. I listened to the former Kano State Governor, Rabiu Kokonso. He gave a speech that I saw it on a YouTube link, right? And where he was talking about the neglect in the north. And, I shook my head and I said, is this the poor governance? Is it a regional thing? It's not a regional thing. It's just now maybe because the North is not fully in power. Maybe that's why it seems like they're feeling the brunt of ineffective governance, right? It's not about regionals or regions. It's about, the fact that every single time we have a system that kind of is always tilted. Anytime anybody's in power, is tilted, and it's not balanced. It's not fair. And it just came to my head when he was talking that I remember that, even because I was born and bred in Kaduna, right? The southern part of Kaduna till date, except maybe they will fix the road tomorrow. Till date, the roads are in horrible states. But if you go to the northern side, even inner streets, you see Kotal there. It's all tarred with the drainages and all of that. So there's a lot of problem when it comes to governance. It seems like for every time somebody is put in a position, there is selective governance, right, where they choose which side, which region they need to take care of. So with this one you have said, now I'm going to call the people in Kaduna South, let them start snapping all the pictures, because it is very bad. The roads are horrible, like literally some of them are not motorable anymore, and they've been like that, and I can tell you this is way over 2 decades they've been like that. So make it make sense to me why we're not having. So that's why anybody that tries to throw religion or ethnicity or anything at the problem, I just, I come at you with all my full force, because it's not a regional thing. Because if you really want to look at it, it's just the fact that a lot of times, because the system encourages mediocrity and encourages an unfair balance, that's what we get whenever we see people in power. I mean, so Timilehin, if you had a final thing to just say to wrap up this conversation, to the government, elected officials, to the citizens, right? What would those 2 things? What would it be?
Okay, so I know we don't, when we have leaders that are trying to come into power, we can't see the heart of man, but at the same time, we need leaders who are genuinely interested in helping, in making sure that things are better in the country. It has to come from a place of interest. There is no amount of advocacy, capacity building will do that would change how someone already thinks before they get to power. So we need leaders who are actually interested in seeing that the country becomes a better place. That is the only time all our efforts, all the advocacies, all the capacity building, all the wishes we have as a nation would actually come into place. And for the citizens, we have to be interested. We can't, like I said, we can't leave the fight for CSOs. We can't leave the fight for concerned citizens. Everyone has to be concerned. When we gather, when we come together as one, when our voice is heard as one, it makes it easy for us to demand what we want. Sometimes they play with our feelings because they know that, if we tweak it a bit, they'll probably change their mind, or some people don't buy this idea. Oh, some people want this particular person because it's from this particular ethnicity to be in power. But when we take out these little things, the bias, when we take out our feelings and have a goal, when we focus on where we are headed, what we want as a country, it makes it easy for us to find the right leader to be there. And at the same time, finding someone who is genuinely interested in being in power, someone who wants to be seen, not just someone when you elect, they just go to their capital city and are there, but they have conversations, they have interactions with the people in their constituency. That is when I believe Nigeria would actually be a better place, and we start seeing people who are interested in filling up the manifestos, all the promises they made during the times of election, and see through that promise. So I would say Nigerians need to get involved. Everyone needs to be, all hands needs to be on deck. Considering the coming election in about 2 years, everyone literally has to vote. Our power, we decide who sits there. We should not forget that, because sometimes I feel Nigerians forget how powerful we are. Nobody will be there if we do not vote them. So we need to take accountability. We need to remember that we wield this power. Anyone we put there answers to us, works for us. So we need to focus on who we want to put in power, and everyone needs to be interested in voting, because there is power when everyone comes together and wants to achieve a particular goal. It's easy for us to get to the particular place we are headed when we are in a group than when we are separated and we have different opinions and ideas. We need to forget all the bias, all these traditions, all this religion, who is a Christian, is a Muslim, who is this, is from Abia, is from Nasarawa, and all of that. Focus on who is going to do the job. We already know what we
Absolutely.
want.
Absolutely. Take away all our biases. I wish it was
Yeah.
that simple, but I'm hoping we
I
can get.
wish to.
I'm hoping we can get past that.
I
Thank you
hope
so
so
much,
too.
Timilehin, for your time this evening. Okay,
Thank you
so
very
to
much.
strengthen accountability and improve governance in Nigeria, citizens should, they have to demand regular reports and engagements from their representatives. They have to support independent platforms that track legislative performances. Timilehin mentioned the tracker platform on budget. They have to also educate others about their rights and their roles in the democratic processes. So not just educating yourself, educate others. If you can, share links. If you see a video that is educative, share to people that need to know. Use digital tools. We're talking social media, raise awareness, on responsibility and our roles, and what we need to do when we also are voting. How do we track, how do we also keep these leaders accountable? All of these things are part of what, makes it fun for us to be able to say, okay, yes, we are making a headway. There was something Timilehin touched on. I just want to say it because I did it on social media. I'll do it here, right? What is the vision, Nigeria? Because if we do not have a vision as a country, where are we headed? So if you do not know where you're going to, you would not know the steps to take today to get there. So, for me, every day it becomes clearer and clearer why it seems like Nigeria is a failed state. And it is seemingly so because we lack direction, we lack a vision. So what is Vision Nigeria? And let's stop doing all those 2030, 2050 and all of that. No. Where do we want to see ourselves in the next 10 years? What are the kind of infrastructures that we need? The kind of healthcare that we need? The kind of educational systems that we need? All of those things makes up, what a vision will look like. So we now actively backtrack and say, okay, you know what? For us to achieve a world-class educational system, we have to put XYZ in place today. That's how it will work. If not, we'll just keep dancing around in circles. So democracy cannot thrive when citizens are passive. Elected representatives must be visible, accessible, and effective, right? When they fail to meet expectations, they must be held accountable. Public ratings and electoral consequences are not acts of hostility. They are tools for democracy, right? So it is important that we rate our representative. Every citizen has a role to play in demanding better leadership, and it starts with, first of all, what we're doing now today, the awareness, right? And then follows up with action, right? In that way, we can also move it a step further by securing it through the ballot. But you can only secure it through the ballot if you know, you're educated as to who are the people that are on the ballot paper. So you know how to now thumbprint on the right people and not across party lines or religion or ethnicity and all of the stuff we normally do before. All right, thank you so much for watching. Before we go, please, again, let me thank my guest today, Timilehin. She was an amazing guest that joined me tonight. And also for you watching us, thank you so much for joining us.